In this Wild Wild West remake set in the Pirates universe, Arm & Hammer plays the straight man to Crybaby's goofy character sidekick, only this time with subtle racial stereotypes. In this summer blockbuster, that's not in any way at all like Pirates of the Caribbean.
We saw Lone Ranger.
Did you say Arm & Hammer?
Yeah, I did say Arm & Hammer. It's Army Hammer.
No, I did
Yeah,
not.
but
That was
a
intentional.
joke.
That was a joke.
Okay. So it's Lone Ranger.
Really? You're gonna...
Oh, sorry, The Lone Ranger.
The Lone Rangers!
In the eyes of a ranger, the unsuspecting stranger had better know the truth of wrong from right. 'Cause the eyes of the ranger are upon you. Any wrong you do, he's gonna see. When you're in Texas, look behind you. 'Cause that's where the ranger's gonna be.
So yeah, The Lone Ranger. It's directed by Gore Verbinski, who, did the other Pirates movies. And it stars Johnny Depp, of course. It stars Armie Hammer, Tom Wilkinson, William Fichtner, James Badge Dale for the third time this summer. He's got some major work, alright? Helena Bonham Carter, because she doesn't do anything without Johnny Depp, and Barry Pepper. And there were some other people, but those were the major cast members.
I wasn't mention some of the people you mentioned.
I like to overdo it
Okay.
when we introduce people in the movie. So anyways, we're going to try something a little different now. We got 5 people. We've noticed that these kind of drag on a lot when we go into, try to do a conversation. So we're going to do a little bit. We're going to experiment.
Something new.
We're going to experiment a little. So bear with us. If it sucks, we won't do it ever again. But anyways.
Make sure you tell us if it sucks in the comments section. Every one of you.
Yeah, that's just asking for it. That's just asking for it. Anyways,
Well, it sounds like we're going to do the...
I am asking for
our 20 audience members are going to now complain about how shitty it is.
20.
But anyways, yeah, it's not. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to let everybody have their individual turn to talk about the movie, and then we'll do a little bit of quick discussion to wrap things up. So we'll see how this turns out. All right, so guys, this is the Blues Riff from B. Watch me for the changes. Try to keep up. Alright, so Lone Ranger, here's my thoughts on it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was very uneven, kind of all over the place, kind of, didn't quite know what it wanted to be. In some parts, it was kind of just fun, over-the-top, kind of humorous action stuff. Other times, it seemed kind of overly serious, and it was kind of weird. But overall, I did think though the movie was too long. I thought they had some unneeded, maybe parts of the movie, unneeded characters. It seemed like there was a lot of people that just popped up for like a scene and didn't do that much to bring the, story ahead at all. I thought the music was good. We have Hans Zimmer yet again, like we had for Man of Steel, and never disappoints. But this isn't as good as Man of Steel's score, but it's pretty good. And some of the score had a little bit of a Sherlock influence, I heard when I was listening to it. But anyways, good stuff though, regardless. And he did some fun things with themes and things like that. But enough on the score. I thought the effects were good. This was an expensive movie, and you can tell, judging by the effects, they were all done really well. So anyways, like I was saying though, I thought this was an okay movie. I think it should have been a little more simplified. I think they shouldn't have, there's just a lot of unnecessary stuff in this movie. But other than that, I think it, had some fun stuff. It was still entertaining. I still enjoyed it enough. It just wasn't the best movie that it could have been, I guess. So anyways, and I really wanted to like this movie. I like Gore Verbinski, I like Johnny Depp, I like Armie Hammer, I like all the people involved. I just kind of thought it was a little lacking and not quite what I wanted. So.
I liked the movie. I agree it was a little long. They probably could have cut out a bit of it. But I'm going to focus on what I liked. I thought it was a really beautiful film. Like, it made me want to go out west. The cinematography was really nice. I liked the music a lot. I like how it paid tribute to the Lone Ranger score. Kind of contributed into the film. I loved the horse. You can't get much better than that spirit horse. I mean, that was hilarious. He had a lot of nice comedic moments. It brought a lot of nice humor to the film. As did, I thought, Helena Bonham Carter's character. I liked her character. I thought she was pretty funny. And
Really?
yeah, I did.
Her?
She was one of those unnecessary characters I was talking about. But anyways, keep going.
Well, I don't know. I don't think she should have had a bigger part or anything, but I just thought, it was pretty funny.
I agree that she shouldn't have had a part.
What else? I love Johnny Depp in this film. I think it's his best character since Jack Sparrow.
Her?
Michael Bolton?
Michael Bolton. No, I thought he was excellent, and I know the casting was completely controversial, and because he's not Native American.
God knows there's some Native American actors.
But
T-Hawk.
I thought this film really brought Native Americans into a much more positive light. Like, they made the white people look really bad, as we brutally slaughtered them. So.
Bad face.
But
I prefer.
Well, you can talk about that when you get to your turn.
I thought his name Armie Hammer was good. I don't think he was quite as good as Johnny Depp, but I think he did a decent job. He looks good with some scruff on his face. Overall, I really enjoyed the film. I would recommend it. As a summer popcorn flick, I think it's a lot of fun. And that's about it.
Well, did not have high hopes for this movie. I kind of thought it was boring.
I hope silver.
I thought it was kind of boring for a good part of it. There was a lot of just story I wasn't interested in. Like the relationship between the main character played by Armie Hammer and like his brother's sister. That whole deal, I could have done without that. That was just really uninteresting.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah, pretty much.
And really-
it was for the women.
Really, Johnny Depp stars in this movie, let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
Well,
that's
His
actually
first build, he's on all the posters.
One of the number
As
one
he
reasons.
should.
Yeah.
No, I want to say that they kind of. I didn't think they were going to have a kiss scene in this movie, but it was kind of weird
Yeah,
that they did
they
it
really
after like your brother's dead joke too.
Yeah, pretty
Like
much.
wrong brother.
Wrong
Okay,
brother.
we're-
He's like, yeah.
Let's
We're
get
hijacking,
Let's make
we're
out.
hijacking
Alright,
Kit's review.
Anyway.
We're hijacking Kit's
Happens
review.
every time. I make good points, I guess.
I was only going to say one thing and that was it.
Johnny Depp was pretty much the reason I saw this movie. I knew it was going to be entertaining because he was in it, and sure enough, yeah, he was all my favorite parts of the movie. He was hilarious.
He was.
All right, he was hilarious.
Favorite parts.
I found Johnny Depp's every scene that he was in. Every scene Johnny Depp was in, he stole the scene, and it was like always funny. The spirit horse was entertaining too.
Big props to the horse.
Yeah.
We love
Otherwise,
horses.
the movie wasn't great.
I love
To
horse.
me, I mean, like to me, I really would if this was on TV, came on like cable, and there was nothing else on, I'd probably watch it
After another hour of commercials.
after another hour of commercials.
On that fact.
Just like I was like, hey, I haven't seen this movie in a while, better see it. And just want to say, there's no real reason to stay after the credits unless you want to see Johnny Depp walk like he crapped his pants
For at least
for
a good
about
5
a
minutes.
good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I know what you're thinking. Oh, that sounds awesome. It really isn't.
It's probably not even Johnny Depp because you just see his back. It's probably like his stunt double
Yeah,
walking
no.
over.
He's a serious actor. I'm sure he does.
I choose to believe the director liked him.
Man.
The director liked him, his whole crap pants walk so much that he was like, we gotta record this for the credits. We gotta record this for the credits. People always
I
stay for the
bet-
credits. I love this.
I bet it was just a practical joke, and they were like, "Just keep going. We'll tell you when to stop," and they just let him keep going.
So,
They will walk to New York.
pretty much,
He probably
this
walked to his
movie
trailer.
was pretty much
Meth trailer.
That
was the desert. I assume.
it met my expectations.
I do want to.
Johnny Depp was great. The rest of it was boring.
So I thought this movie was pointlessly long and featured a lot of stupidness. I wasn't a big fan of this movie. It seemed to go on for a decent amount of time that it didn't really necessarily have to. A lot of it was just a lot of establishing shots or things that weren't entirely necessary. The whole narrative story arc kind of Tonto, right? Tonto?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tonto
True.
telling the story to a child while he's... It just seemed like an excuse to get Johnny Depp in old people makeup for no real apparent reason. And I didn't really... Those parts were just kind of like tacked on, and it didn't seem useless. Speaking of tacked on, Helden Bonham Carter was in this movie for no fucking reason at all. Her character served absolutely no purpose. The entire brothel-type people showed up for one scene for
Also tacked on was her leg.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh.
That leg was sweet.
But
Richard got the zingers today.
But that whole scene where they went there was like, I guess, you know, it was okay for an establishing thing of like the plot, but when they showed up again at the later on, it was really just like, we should bring these characters back, and everyone's like, why? No fucking reason, just throw them in there. And they didn't even have like a
That
scene
conversation
where
took place off camera.
But yeah, that's the thing, they didn't even have a scene where they brought those characters back.
That was a scene they cut out.
Yeah, they didn't serve a purpose. I don't know why she was in this movie. I thought that was kind of stupid. And I thought most of the movie was just a lot of things happening, but with no real intent to any of it. It was just another, you know, it's the Disney summer block office thing. And you had Johnny Depp, who, I guess other people liked him apparently watching him in this movie. I thought it was kind of, and everyone else like, why is he playing Indian? And that's kind of racist. And the way he played it was kind of, I thought it was a little bit sketchy of him playing an Indian that was like spirit person and the makeup and I didn't like his performance as this weird Indian guy. The character was fine, like it was written fine. It was a good sort of plot as far as this movie was concerned, as well written. It's just I didn't really enjoy his performance. This movie was very much Pirates of the Caribbean with just you have your normal character who's like the main character doing stuff and Jack Black, I don't know, Johnny Depp as the wacky sidekick who's kind of like this important character but doing goofy shit. It just seemed way too similar, and I don't know why I got off the boat for this one.
Honestly, I always saw Johnny Depp being the main character in Pirates movies.
Until the ones where he was.
He basically is, but
And
I know what you're saying. Will Turner is more of the story
Will
arc
Turner's
character.
supposed to be the main character,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's
yeah.
a straight
Nobody
man.
gives a
And then
shit.
Johnny Depp is the goofy character who still does important stuff, but goofily. Which is exactly what he is in this movie. So, there you go. That's this movie.
So, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. There were definitely points where it seemed a little long. There were some pointless things like the kid. You know, I thought there'd be more. We should be a little less of that. You know, and a little more. I don't know. I enjoyed Johnny Depp's his. I don't want to say swagger, but I enjoyed his personality. You know, yeah, the horse was a great, you know,
Everybody
comedic
loves horse.
release.
Big fan of horse.
Yeah. Horse.
Big fan of horse.
There was a House of Horse and there was a House of Horrors.
Whoa.
That's
That was there too.
All right, come on.
There was a House of Horrors.
So you like the movie?
I did like the movie. Yeah, it made it seem a little long. There were probably some things that they could have cut and could have thrown more shit in.
Should have cut out.
Could have cut out.
Alan Carter's leg.
No, that's what the one bad guy did.
Oh.
Did he? Do we really know that for sure?
I think she made it.
It's
sound
implied.
like-
It's implied.
Implied, yeah.
She did.
I'm just saying.
You know,
Saying.
like, I guess.
He ate someone's heart.
Yeah, he went down.
Armin
and he didn't stop
Armin
going down
Hammer's
there.
character.
Army
No,
Hammer.
it's Arm and Hammer.
It's Army Hammer.
Army Hammer!
Army Hammer!
As in like Army Hammer.
Just-
all right.
Just seemed real.
He didn't get a real fucking name.
Just seemed real.
What is his real name?
Come on!
Tight,
Come on!
straight laced, or whatever else. Just kind of seemed kind of prudish a little bit.
He was gonna be Batman.
Shut up!
And then-
Shut up!
Sorry.
You know, he seemed a little, you know, too uptight and too prudish. It's like, all right, with vengeance. You know, dude killing people. Bad guys killing people and get revenge. But I'm gonna take him to justice when you just could have taken justice out in the desert.
That's almost a good tagline. I took justice
out in the desert.
I took Justice out to the desert once, and that's why they never found the body. Fuck you, Nevada.
Dude, David Justice is totally still around, man.
Not that one.
You know, I was gonna
Beating
say.
Halle Berry?
Okay.
Wow.
I'm completely lost in this whole thing.
You know. Yeah, I know. I enjoyed it. It's worth it. I don't know. And now for the group discussion.
Here we go.
So, you've just heard our individual thoughts on the Lone Ranger. Now we're going to kind of have a little discussion. So here's what I got from what we all just said. Alright?
Alright.
We all kind of thought it was a little long for the most part,
I think
right?
it was long. I just
Yeah.
think they wasted their space.
That's kind of the same thing. Alright? You and your things aren't long. You said this about Man of Steel too.
Kid doesn't know what long is.
Yeah, he's like, I can spend hours at the movie theater.
That's
I don't
what
give a
she said.
shit. Anyways, okay, so we all kind of agreed it was a little long. There were some unnecessary things in there. We sounded like for the most part we were not a fan of all the added characters, including Helena Bonham Carter, but you liked her.
I
So-
liked her to a certain extent. I don't think that, like, she should have been the main character. They should have added more. But I wasn't bothered by her.
I don't get why people were so attracted to her leg and wanted to touch it.
Yeah,
Why?
that was
Just because
that
it was
pretty
ivory? I
weird.
mean, I didn't get it either. It was really weird to me.
In
I really
Scrimshaw,
like- yeah.
that's some handcrafting right
But
there.
in the end, this is a over 2
Never
hour
want
long
to touch
movie.
an amputee's fake leg.
This
sorry.
movie's over 2 hours long.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so if you cut out things like that, you could easily get it, under 2 hours. And I think that's where this movie needed to be. I think dragging it out forever is why.
But that's a Bruckheimer thing, where to
Kind
make
of.
an expansive
Kind of.
summer adventure movie, he has to have it
It
as
was
like
just
this 2 hour long fucking
it was kind of-
experience,
it-
which doesn't need to
It was kind of making it complicated for no reason. Like there was really
and
no
that's what it
reason to
was.
make it
Yeah.
that complicated.
I mean, even
And the bit with the kid.
it could have been so much simpler.
there's a lot of stuff in the
That
pirate-
kid, his scene was almost
Wait.
a kid scene.
I know what you're about to say. Are you talking about Pirates 2, 3, and 4, or the first
pirate
Pirates of the
sequels.
Caribbean?
No,
yeah,
and the same thing. In the pirate
Exactly.
sequels, there was a lot of stuff that. I mean, it wasn't terrible, and some
No, I
of
wouldn't
it
say
was a lot
terrible.
of necessary stuff because there was a lot of different adventures and set stuff that built up to a
And
point.
characters.
But this didn't really do any of that. It just kind of had scenes to have scenes
Yeah,
to build
it
up to
was-
it. Like literally the one final scene. It
We
was
could
a lot
have
of
had
stuff.
montages on
Yeah,
the quest
you
for
could have
vengeance.
cut a lot of the fat out of this movie
I
and
don't
made it
think you
shorter.
needed a quest for vengeance. I mean, I think you could have.
And
I don't
then-
know. It just could have been a lot
It's
simpler.
like
They could have
It seemed
come.
like-
They could have trimmed the fat.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
gonna have the kid show it in the beginning and the end, like, oh, I'm done telling the story now, or something.
Oh, that kid. Yeah, and that was like I said, that was
like,
necessary.
you-
enough.
Yeah, it was
You
very
don't
Night of the Museum sort of shit right
You
there.
could have
Yeah.
done.
It
you
was
could've
just a
done
weird,
some-
and they didn't explain it. It was just a stupid
You-
addition.
You could have done some more, original and interesting things with focusing on a simpler story. You didn't have to have the whole
The museum.
Calgary versus the Indians. I don't see what that added to the story. I didn't see what the Helena Bonham Carter stuff added. Like, a lot of that was just kind of like
Here's
side
another
story to what
part.
we actually are supposed to be watching. We're supposed to be watching, the Lone Ranger get revenge for his brother getting killed and stuff, and because the dude is evil. Alright, that's the basic premise. And then, you have Tonto there as his, sidekick. That's what we wanted. We didn't need all this stuff.
But-
If you want to see stuff about, the Indians fighting the train expansion and stuff, watch Hell on Wheels. It's a sweet show, but you can get it much more there, and it's much more realistic, and it doesn't portray it as, it's not so much of, oh, the Indians are the good guys, we were just horrible people. It's not that at all. It actually takes kind of the opposite stance. But anyways, they're not completely anti-Indian. I don't want to
So
say
it's something
that.
I never get, they actually
have
have
main
the sign in
characters
front of
are
it says,
Indians and stuff.
Noble Savage. And I like how they call them
Yeah.
savages, but they're always clean shaven.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Okay,
What
so,
type of savage shaves?
so there was unnecessary stuff
I
in this
can,
movie.
Or
I
then
can
you
see
tell me
why,
to.
yes,
That
absolutely.
was
I can see why you
No,
would
actually,
say
I'm fine
to
with
cut
it.
that out, but at the same time, I do kind of get that they're going on an adventure, so stupid shit is gonna happen like
But it wasn't
that.
their adventure. It was the
It's all- I
Calgary
do it
and
for
the
you.
Indians
Well, no,
fighting.
not
It's
that,
all
but
for
like,
You're my poof.
like
in the Calvary.
Calgary, sorry.
That's-
Calgary,
You did say Calgary.
Did
Yeah,
I?
what the
I didn't.
fuck was going on?
Calgary.
Sorry.
He was talking
Calgary.
about it
I meant
twice.
Calvary.
God,
For some reason I said
You know
Calgary.
what? If the fucking Maple
Didn't
Leafs
realize
showed
it.
up,
Didn't realize I said it. Maybe it was your talk about Canadian Batman earlier that was throwing me off. So,
Canadian
sorry.
Batman is a really good comedy piece. You can check it out on my YouTube page.
no, I
Although
know.
you can't because it's not real.
We'll make a video
I
about it.
agree, but yeah,
I'll make a
at
video
the
about
same
it
time,
right
I
now.
think it's
And we'll
like
also do a
their
continuation
adventure
of the
too,
fast
but
food wars if you're interested.
No, we're not.
So I
doing
apologize
Yeah.
for saying Calgary. All right. It was
that. You
just
know
a
what? You
slip.
should apologize. It's from
No.
Canada and nobody
I
gives a
apologize.
shit.
But anyways,
The
what we're
dislike
saying,
button is
saying-
located right
what
there.
we're saying is there was a lot of unnecessary stuff in this
Yes,
movie, though, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second thing I noticed we like to talk about a lot was Johnny Depp's performance. All right. For the most part, everyone seemed to enjoy it except for Josh.
Was that
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I
Yeah,
thought.
I thought it was great.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I enjoyed
didn't.
his scenes.
It
I did
didn't.
too.
It didn't
I just-
blow me away. I wasn't like,
Well,
oh
the
man,
thing-
this was amazing. But it was good for what it was. I mean,
Well, from what I got from it first was like, even from the superficial standpoint of just white man playing an Indian, like, and the way he played it, which wasn't as tasteless as it could have been. I mean, they could have overplayed it. It could have been worse written. That wasn't Johnny Depp's fault. They could have written a more stereotypical Indian character. That wasn't it. It was the fact that he was basically playing Jack Sparrow as an Indian.
I didn't get that.
He was
No.
he
Get
was
that?
he was playing the kind of comedic sidekick in this adventure film to the straight
Yeah.
man, which is what he just fucking did for 4 fucking movies.
I will say, to
And
me,
it's like it just seemed like literally the same character, but with now he's an Indian and it's a different setting.
okay, so
And to that was just like, and it's a
I
Bruckheimer
think-
film. It just seemed too similar.
I think Armie Hammer and Johnny Depp, Armie Hammer and Johnny Depp are acting in a different movie than what everyone else is acting in, and add in the horse. Those 3 characters seem to be kind of in a different movie than what Lone Ranger was. Lone Ranger itself was a much more serious and like there's some dark stuff in this movie, and then you got Tonto and Lone Ranger and Silver, and they're like just slapstick and all sorts of crazy shit going on. You know, what I mean, like it was just kind of weird to me that it's like they're kind of fighting each other in
There's
2 different
dark
movies.
stuff in the movie. I mean,
So, eating hearts
savages,
and
savage
yeah.
brutally
But you know what? To be
killing
fair, it didn't look like he
the
ate his
Native
heart.
American-
no, they didn't see him eat the heart.
They didn't see it, and it looked like he stabbed him in the dick. I thought he was eating his dick.
I thought it was balls.
stomach. I thought it was stomach.
I thought it was like his kidney.
Did anyone else?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
table show of hands.
I thought it was gonna be like, I want to
Did
eat
anyone
this
think he was
for me.
actually eating his heart until he said that he ate his heart? Because I thought he at least stabbed him in his stomach. And at first, I thought he was eating his
seriously
dick.
thought he was
Only-
taking his balls.
I thought he was eating his heart.
stomach or
No.
kidney or something.
Okay.
You asked, do we think he was eating his heart, right?
Yeah. Or wait, what? I didn't think it was. Show of hands if you thought he was eating his heart. Really?
Only because I knew that he eats hearts before coming into this movie.
Oh fuck!
I didn't think he was eating it.
So it's not the same.
did not
I know what you're saying because when I saw it, I was
It
like,
looked like he jabbed
I was
him
like,
in the dick.
yeah, I was like, why is
It
he?
looked like
The
the
knife
kidney
plunge
or
looked-
No, I was
something.
like-
I thought he was eating his
I-
liver or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I thought he
Something
cut him in the
like
stomach, and then I was like, I thought this guy eats hearts. Why is he stabbing him in the stomach? That
Ah,
was my
okay.
thought.
See,
Okay,
yeah,
so
I didn't understand. Like, and they showed it in like the reverse, and I guess maybe that was dark, but there wasn't enough child murder to make it a dark movie.
I'm just saying that there are moments in this movie that are darker than what it seems like Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer in that part of the movie is trying.
I get that.
Trying to
I
be.
just, I don't know. I really didn't.
But it's
And even
a tale
the-
about vengeance.
and even aside from that, I just thought like
That was kind of hokey. His like the law and stuff was.
Oh, that
No,
was
That went on
That's
for
a-
way too long. Okay, in the beginning
I
you put
mean,
that,
like,
that's fine.
No, just back to
he's
Johnny Depp.
avenging his brother.
I just want to pull it back to Johnny Depp. It just I really didn't like. What they could have found like an actual Indian guy who's a decent actor to just be an Indian.
What were
guy.
they gonna get? The guy from Hell on Wheels? I mean, they seem to take a lot from that story. to
Dude
do
from
it,
Gangster
so-
Squad.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it's the same guy.
and even
I don't
just
know.
like the casting, it's just his performance was just it was too much of a Johnny Depp performance, and I
That's
don't
the
think
thing.
that's what this
Well, if
movie
you don't
needed.
like that, then I guess
It's what's gonna draw people to the movie because
It is. It wasn't-
about the movie was
You know what? You could
Yeah.
I don't know maybe take a fucking chance with an actor who maybe isn't fucking.
You know what, though?
Maybe you could make a
Here's-
movie that's a good movie
here's
instead of
the-
a movie that you're trying to get.
This
money
is
for.
the problem with what you just said, though. You just asked them to take a chance, and in the modern Hollywood system, nobody wants to take a chance.
No, that's why
Okay,
there's so many.
that's- I mean,
sequels.
you know, to be
that's
fair,
why it's all
Remakes.
sequels and remakes.
To
and
be
using
fair,
the
I guess
same
this is the
people.
biggest chance this summer because
This
it is
actually
an
is a
original
gamble.
IP.
Well, it's a remake
Oh,
of
re-
something that exists,
But it's
it-
something that
was it-
existed like 50, 60
Or
years
say it was a
ago.
radio show, a radio program.
No, it was a black and
wasn't
white TV show.
Okay.
Maybe
It probably
it's,
was both.
It was probably
It probably was both.
we don't do our
Well,
research.
yeah,
this
once
is
again-
resisting boredom.
Yeah,
we get
yeah,
our drinks
we don't
and we
research
fucking
anything.
go.
We don't research anything. So, anyways. Jesus
What?
Christ, that was
I
loud!
really don't want to buy new glasses. Don't break this.
I neglected to bring the information station, so yeah, I can confirm.
Alright.
Richard can confirm that we
mom
don't
and
research.
my uncles and aunts, they all
So
like
those-
that show.
Okay, those were the two main things I noticed from doing all the individual reviews. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up or notice or wants to discuss at all?
I didn't mind which. Everyone kept saying the kid. Were we talking about the future kid or a kid in the show or the show? The movie?
The nephew?
The nephew or whatever? I don't know. I
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
know.
know.
Kid.
You
I
guys
think-
brought up the kid. Didn't you?
I was talking about the nephew. Was like
The kid
like,
I
halfway to
referenced
being a shitty
was...
I see. I didn't mind the nephew. I thought the nephew
The
was a
kid
fine
I
kid.
referenced was the one with the mask at the fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
That
the
was
future
totally
kid I thought was
unnecessary,
stupid
yeah,
and
it was
useless.
stupid.
The
I think that,
nephew kid,
yeah, okay, let's
I
talk
thought
about that
was-
part of the movie then, because that's
let's
how
talk-
this
that
thing
was
is framed.
stupid. It was stupid.
I thought it was kind of unnecessary too.
It was kind of like in the beginning.
I think
was
it was an interesting idea, but I think it didn't get executed well enough or make enough sense to do
Yeah.
it.
I think it was too much.
Maybe
Like,
if there had been some kind of reveal in the end with that to
But
make
there
it
wasn't.
kind of
Yeah, it
make
was just
sense
kind of
more.
like they had it in the movie they cut to it a couple
They
times
could cut
for no real
from
reason,
those.
just to be
Exactly.
just to remind you that they did it in the beginning of the movie. They cut to it. They could have left that completely
it's
out.
kind of weird.
And it just seemed, like I said, it seemed like no useful purpose other than
It'll
to
give you a
have Johnny
chance
Depp in
to-
old Indian makeup.
They'll give you a
That
chance
was
to
it.
pause it when it comes
Which
out
I was
on
good. I mean, I
DVD.
thought it looked like an old Indian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, it was good makeup.
yeah, it was good makeup and stuff. But
When he got up and
Johnny
left
Depp
at
did
the
a
end
good
of the
job.
movie, I was kind of hoping that the bear would just kind of get up and leave. I was like, alright,
I
my
found it
shit's
odd
done.
that he like put a
Everything.
suit on though to leave.
That was just
like,
and then I was like,
he never had a suit the entire
I was
movie.
like, is that the Trail of Tears? What is he walking for? Like,
Are we
40
supposed to
minutes?
believe that this guy is like bullshitting this kid the whole time? Like I didn't get
See, that's
it.
the thing. It maybe raised a few questions, but it didn't really
Yeah.
raise any intelligent questions about the movie.
It was
It
like
just kind of like was just this thing they
The movie
threw
was
in
it
there
was
for
it
no reason.
1863 and they were at the 1933 fair or whatever else.
Yeah, it was.
It's not important, but
It was just a really pointless part of the movie that
Yeah.
served.
oh,
no
there was
purpose,
something I forgot to
but
mention.
extended the already lengthy runtime.
There was something I forgot to mention, and I guess this is a spoiler, but not really, because basically as soon as I saw Tom Wilkinson, I went, he's going to be the bad guy. This is James Woods from last week all over again. As soon as I saw Tom Wilkinson, I went, he's going to end up being the bad guy.
Yeah, I
and sure
remember
enough,
myself.
he was.
Like,
It's
who
like,
was it? Yeah. I don't know.
if they're going to try to pull these twists, they cannot cast actors who are notorious for doing these sort of things. Okay? Like, there are certain actors that you see and you go,
Yeah.
he's not going to be
Well,
good.
he obviously,
Like,
this
he's
guy's
gonna
the main
turn.
bad guy.
Yeah,
James Woods.
he's gonna turn like James Woods. That's what I'm saying. This is the same thing, but this time with Tom Wilkinson. And it's like, I don't know, like, it just kind of frustrated me because I was like, he's gonna end up being bad, and then eventually you do find out he's bad, and at that point I was just like, yeah, I knew that from the beginning.
I'd
You didn't have
rather
to
than not
draw
dance
this out.
around about who the bad guy
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
We'll know. We'll know.
Maybe
Just
that's the
present it
thing
as
too,
bad
is
guy.
we don't need to hide it so much.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
let's
want-
just-
I don't need to be
That's
surprised.
for like a different type of movie. In a like a
Yeah,
thriller,
yeah.
like where you don't know who's the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's for this one. In this movie, just tell us who
This is
the players
supposed to
are
be-
flat out.
This is supposed to be a fun, entertaining popcorn
Yeah.
movie, you know? Like, it's not supposed to be this in-depth and twisty and turny
You put it
thing.
like, okay, here are the
I mean-
bad guys, here are the good guys, here's what's gonna happen. You know.
And even
It's
Pirates
like-
did that right. Pirates right at the beginning was like, it's the guys on the curse ship.
Yeah.
They're bad.
They're
Yeah.
bad,
You should probably not trust them. Oh, and the guys working for the Indian tea for the trade. They're kind of greedy. Don't trust those guys either. And that was it. It was like
Yeah,
right
yeah.
out there in the beginning. You knew what was going on. And then they had this summer blockbuster adventure around those set pieces, set to those villains, and it was fine. Everyone enjoyed
Yeah.
it. And then the sequels maybe complicated little things, and then
Yeah.
but this thing was just like, oh, it's these guys, but then here
Yeah,
comes the army. Are they
I-
on our side? Oh, wait,
Okay,
turn.
get us something to say.
I didn't
He
think the
does.
fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie was great.
No, I think
I
that's
thought
the
it was-
weakest.
I thought it was
I
the
think the
weakest.
fourth one is the
I
worst one.
still prefer
Which-
to watch that one over
it's-
this movie.
It's
Ooh,
oh
wow.
no, I'd rather watch this movie than the
No,
fourth
I
Pirates.
would prefer
And
to watch the
I
fourth
and I
one.
really like Ian McShane, and that's a shame that he's
Ian
in the fourth.
McShane is
Ian McShane
motherfucking
is awesome. Yeah, and that's a shame.
Ian,
that he's in
this
it.
is what this movie was missing. Ian
Ian
McShane.
McShane?
Fuck yes.
As Blackbeard still.
Oh, I said they needed.
Like Case 39?
No.
I'm probably the only person who saw it.
No, they needed an
Yeah.
Elsewhere character.
They needed Woo.
Uh,
They needed Woo.
Okay.
If this movie had if this movie was Deadwood movie,
Look
so
at these
great.
Asians working. Cocksucker. What
Yeah.
the hell is he going on?
I like
If they just
the
scrapped-
And,
movie.
and,
I
the,
think
and the
it's
kid's
a
mom was
movie.
obviously they were trying to hook her up on the opium with the Asian lady.
Yeah, the
is.
Asian lady with the opium.
Yeah, everyone thought this movie was gonna be racist against Indians. I kind of think this movie is more racist against Asians.
Absolutely.
Like, that was the weird thing.
really,
All they do is they build the railroads and
I
give
felt
you
upset
opium.
as a white heterosexual male.
They build the railroads and give you opium. That's all they did. It was man.
They gave
started
her
with
pretty
11
flower.
Asian
Pretty
Yes,
pretty
yes,
gift.
that's
Pretty
what
gift. How is that racist?
Who wants
Yeah.
some wang?
Yeah,
Anyways,
did you find that racist?
Yeah, let's-
Textbook racist.
Well, you have a picture
I
of
mean-
Chairman Mao.
Alright.
I was like, you like. That's my grandmother. I told you that before.
It's chill.
It's not Chairman Mao.
All right, to wrap this up then,
Dead ringer.
I thought something interesting when this movie was over.
Well,
this is a Gore Verbinski movie, right? This is
I'm sorry.
okay, guys.
Right.
This is a Gore Verbinski movie. The guy who did the first 3 Pirates movies. He did Rango, and he basically did this. Anything else, I don't know what he did.
Mouse Hunt.
But based on that
Did
stuff,
Mouse?
I found it interesting. Did he do Mouse Hunt? Okay, anyways, whatever. It's an
Wow, he
okay
did a
movie.
better job with Rango.
Okay, I haven't seen Rango yet, and I need to see it. But other than
Was
that,
it
okay?
decent?
no. Other than that, looking at his movies though, it seems like after the first Pirates movie, I think it kind of was too much for him, and he seems to have overcomplicated things since then. Like I said, I can't vouch for Rango. Maybe Rango's. I've heard Rango's really good. I hope it is. but still, kind of
I get this too.
weird that he
That's
seems to overcomplicate his movies ever since that first Pirates movie was a huge success. Like, I don't know if he couldn't take the pressure or whatever the deal was. Which leads me to my question. Gore Verbinski was notorious for he was going to be the guy who was going to do a Bioshock movie. Do we think that would have been, if it did happen, would it have been a good movie?
Well, has he done a movie without Johnny Depp yet?
Ooh.
No, that's a serious question.
Whatever that is.
That's a serious question.
No, it makes sense. But okay, with or without Johnny Depp, do you think he would have done the same thing with the Bioshock movie?
Probably,
That he
yeah.
overcomplicated
Yeah,
it and not made it very good?
Yeah.
To be fair,
And a lot of people were very excited for him doing a Bioshock
But
movie.
Pirates was
And they
good.
thought it was going to be the video game movie that was going to be the first big, good
but if you
video
look
game
at
movie.
you look at the Bioshock narrative, I can see where he would take that and run with a bunch of more overcomplicated bullshit.
Who did?
Yeah,
Who did
What's
this
kind of the
design?
feeling I got too.
And that's the thing that kind of
What?
holds his movies back, is he just does a lot of unnecessary stuff. I mean, if you just got you don't have to make a 2 hour.
Yeah, I really
summer
like his
blockbuster.
directing. Like, I think
It's good.
They're always
He does
beautifully
good
shot.
stuff.
You brought up that they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything looks good in his movies.
It's
all-
just it ran a little long because he had too many superfluous scenes.
yeah.
And if
Too
he
many,
Just-
He needs a stronger editor.
not even
I
plots.
think is what it is.
I
Right?
won't say it's
Yeah.
plots. I can't say he did too much plot.
scenes.
He just did a lot of establishing shots that weren't really necessary, and he had a few unnecessary characters. But I think this movie suffered from just too much fat. You know, you could have trimmed it a little bit.
Yeah.
A simpler, shorter movie would
Because
have been
you
much
said it was
better.
like 2 hours. I mean, if
This
you-
is like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that.
You could drop this to
2.5
like an hour
hours.
and 40-minute movie.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you know what? Maybe it isn't like the 2 hour summer blockbuster movie
Yeah,
of the
I
summer.
really
which is
hate
what it
this.
seems.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought he was going. Like he was going for this giant summer movie, and like you know what? You don't need. You could
I
package
really
it
hate.
in a tinier capsule.
I really hate
Deliver
that
us the
feeling,
same
though.
quality movie,
Yeah,
and it would be better because you're not sitting there.
I
fussing.
agree. Have you noticed lately, like
There's less
movies
old
are
people behind
getting
you.
longer and longer? It's like
Okay,
really unnecessary.
This is what I want to talk about. I really hate this feeling of a movie
This
needs
summer's
to be
been a lot of
long
long
to be
movies.
to be important or whatever. That they
Yeah.
seem to think it needs to be long.
And that, it's a
That's
trend
not
that's
true at
not
all,
good.
though. And they say that it's because people will only go to the movie if they think it'll be worth their money, right? But I'd rather see a shorter, better movie for my money than
Yeah.
see something drawn out and too long.
Exactly, and I think that's. You know, if I was sitting there thinking, watching this movie, and like, man, I wish this would ruin the. I'd be playing Battle Cats right now. If I wasn't in the movie theater, because like at some points I was just like, I don't give a shit what's
Or
going
if we
on.
were
Just get to-
alone.
No.
And again,
Yeah, just
I
move
really
on.
liked the movie. Like, okay, it was way too long. I think if you cut, I liked a lot of. No, what I liked, I really liked, and what I didn't like was the length. So yeah, I agree that you could have cut out a lot and made this a really good movie.
yeah,
It,
I think that's kind of what we're all saying.
Yeah,
right?
it was just short of perfection, mainly because they just kind of ran it too long.
I thought
It
it
seems
was
like the
more
sake of
action.
just running it longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it could have done with a lot more action.
a lot more. I think there's a decent amount of action.
Not
You're just-
enough.
It's because it's
Well,
so spaced
it's
out
spaced
with
out.
junk.
Yeah.
That's why.
Exactly.
Well, that was
You could
yeah.
just put more action in that space.
Just cut that out and
But instead we got.
keep
I-
You know, people complain when they put a bunch of action in Man of Steel.
We got trains
Those action
flying
movies?
around when
I had-
clearly
Sorry.
that shouldn't have
You know, I have a problem with the train
The
stuff.
train physics were
No.
kind of
The train stuff is what cost them a ton of money and put this thing, like, delayed it and, like, caused a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But I thought the train
Johnny
stuff
gets
was
injured.
fun.
You have
There
one
was some
train
fun-
car that slowly goes over there, then like later the same thing happens with that train car is dramatically
I-
appropriately.
That's
I
what
thought
you
there was
see
some
in
fun
trailers
stuff with the
usually.
train.
Yeah, I didn't care about the
Yeah,
train.
me
It's
too.
actually I don't give a shit about that.
I think we don't see this time period a lot. I think we don't see this kind of thing that often. So I think we're just all kind of disappointed and thought, you know, wanted this to be a better movie than it was. Basically, is what we're coming down to.
No, this is about as
I wanted it to be better than okay.
I don't think this
wanted
movie was
it
going to be
better
anything to
than
begin
it was.
with, and I'm pretty much
I was-
where I thought.
I
it
think
would
it
be.
would've been-
I was thinking it was going to be probably something cooler.
I was hoping it would have been.
I think
but I didn't
Barry
think it would be.
Barry
So-
Pepper was like just like an evil sort of general or
Yeah, he was
whatnot.
unneeded.
Instead of the whole like like
They didn't need to develop his character.
yeah,
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying.
didn't
His character
need
at all.
in this.
They didn't. In fact, the army itself, they could have just had like.
Didn't
Yeah.
need
I
it.
have some guys that I pay money and they guard my shit.
Excuse me?
It didn't
Yeah.
have to be the United States cavalry. Didn't have to be at all.
No.
I was like, is this
They could've just had,
Custer
like-
or what?
Yeah, they could have just had some like
Yeah, he did very
mercenary
very much like
force or
Custer.
some shit like
Yeah.
that. Like I pay these guys. It would have been the exact same thing, and they didn't have to struggle with another character that made no sense to the film.
Okay. So I think that's pretty much what we're saying.
Welcome to the group discussion. Everybody move with the music.
I've never actually watched it.
That's a gift. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird, man.